Welcome to Grapple This, coming from our new permanent studio here at the Donkey Toboggan Fight Team Gym. I'm your host, Luke Spearing, and I just want to give a quick shout out to the Donkey Toboggan Fight Team for letting us do this here. On this episode, we'll be talking about UFC 121, Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez, UFC 122, Yushin Okami versus Nate Marquardt, and UFC 123, Rampage Jackson versus Lyoto Machida. Alright, to kick it off first, we'll start with the latest 121. Started off a good card. John Madsen fought Gilbert Yvel to a TKO finish in the first. That was a heavyweight bout. There was a lightweight bout between Chris Camozzi, and he won via split decision over Dong Yi Yang. Another lightweight bout on that card happened to be Sam Stout. He won via split decision over Paul Taylor. Also, there was a welterweight bout. Daniel Roberts choked out Mike Guyman with an anaconda choke in the first round. And then on Spike, we got to see Tom Lawler take on Patrick Cote. He controlled him for all 3 rounds, won by unanimous decision. Also in a middleweight bout, Court McGee choked out Ryan Jensen by arm triangle in the 3rd round. There was a heavyweight bout. Brendan Shaw took on Gabe Gonzaga. Basically controlled him for 15 minutes and earned the unanimous decision. In a light heavyweight bout that I was happy to see, Matt Hamill dominated Tito Ortiz for all 3 rounds to earn the unanimous decision. I always enjoy it when Tito gets beat up. I know you do too. In a welterweight bout, Diego Sanchez, making his return at 170 pounds, took on Paulo Thiago. Won by unanimous decision, and he looked really good doing it. If you hadn't seen Diego's last couple fights, it was a little lackluster. Brought back the old Diego. And another welterweight bout, a very unimpressive Jake Shields squeaked out a split decision win over Martin Kampmann. I'll be talking about that more in a minute with a viewer question. In the main event, Cain Velasquez TKO'd Brock Lesnar in the first round, become the new UFC heavyweight champion. In doing so, he opened up a pretty nasty gash underneath Lesnar's left eye. In UFC 122, Carlos Eduardo Roca tapped out Chris McRae by a knee bar in the first round. That was Chris McRae's first bout at welterweight. If you remember, he was on The Ultimate Fighter that Court McGee won. Also in a light heavyweight bout, Carlos Vemola TKO'd Seth Petrozelli in the first. He basically just pounded Petrozelli's face. In a middleweight bout, Kyle Noak, who used to be the Croc Hunter's bodyguard. I guess he doesn't bodyguard against stingrays, but he choked out Rob Kimmons by a rear naked choke in the 2nd round. In a welterweight bout, Pascal Kraus won via unanimous decision over Mark Scanlon. Apparently, I didn't get to see this fight, but this was fight of the night. In a light heavyweight bout, Vladimir Matyushenko TKO'd Alexandra Fiera in the 1st round. Onto the main card, in a welterweight bout, we got to see Dwayne Ludwig return. He won a split decision over Nick Oshipshek, and at one point in the 3rd round, Ludwig landed a nice straight punch and knocked the snot right out of Nick Oshipshek's face. It's kind of cool. Light heavyweight bout, Krzysztof Szosinski wins by unanimous decision over Goran Relic. Also, welterweight bout, Amir Sadala beat Peter Sabata by unanimous decision. In a lightweight bout, Dennis Siver choked out Andre Winter by rear naked choke in the 1st round. And in the main event, we had Yushin Okami beat Nate Marquardt by unanimous decision. It was fucking bullshit. Pretty boring fight. I don't see how Yushin Okami is going to stand up against A title contender, he'll never win a decision that way. And last but not least, UFC 123, we saw Rampage take on Lyoto Machida. That was the main event, but before we get to that, in the lightweight bout, Nick Lentz defeated Tyson Griffin by split decision, and from what I've read and heard, it was a bad decision. Apparently Tyson Griffin probably should have won that, and will not be getting cut over this third loss in a row. And another lightweight bout, Paul Kelly TKO'd TJ O'Brien in the second round. In a welterweight bout, we saw Dennis Superman Hallman TKO Carl Parisian in the first. Carl looked real bad. He looked overweight and definitely got cut after the fight. He will no longer be fighting in the UFC, and you probably never see him again, even if he goes on a huge win streak. In a middleweight bout, we get to see Mark Munoz fight Aaron Simpson. Munoz wins by unanimous decision. In a welterweight bout, Brian Foster guillotine choked Matt Brown for the win in the second round. Also in a lightweight bout, George Sokolepsis, whatever you want to call him, wins via Kimura over Joe Lozon. That, I believe, was fight of the night. It's put Sotoropoulos up in the higher category. You'll be seeing him fight, number one contender pretty soon here. In a light heavyweight bout, Phil Davis wins by submission over Tim Bosch. The submission is like a modified Kimura, and I believe it will now be referred to as the Mr. Wonderful Lock. In a middleweight bout, Miguel Falco beat Gerald Harris by unanimous decision. In this fight, I do want to bring up, there was 7 or 8 seconds left in the first round. Falco synced in a choke, and the time expired with 6 to 7 seconds left on the clock, or the bell sounded with 6 seconds left on the clock. A lot of people think that Miguel Falco could have won in the first round, but ended up winning by unanimous decision overall. In the co-main event, in a welterweight bout, BJ Penn returns to 170 pounds to take on Matt Hughes. Started off pretty interesting. BJ Penn came out, fired off a shot, and caught Hughes. Rocked him a little bit, put him on Queer Street, landed another nice combo, and knocked him out. Basically, Matt Hughes dropped like a Westbrook horse skirt. And in the main event, we had Rampage beat Lyoto Machida by split decision. I've been told that a lot of people believe that Lyoto actually won the fight. In my opinion, Rampage won just by the simple fact of pushing the pace. And now on a new segment, we're going to try out, we're going to take some viewer questions. If you have any questions, you can hit us up either email or right on the channel. So here we go.
Question 1. Who do you think Lesnar should fight next now that he has lost the belt? I thought he should fight the winner of Carwin and Nelson, but now Carwin is injured, so who else would be a good matchup? That is from Short Bus via Facebook.
Oh, thank you very much, Short Bus. Good question. Right now, the problem is Roy Nelson is in a contract dispute with Roy Jones Jr. for some whack hybrid boxing mixed martial arts card. He got screwed over in a deal, so not sure when Roy Nelson is going to be back in the octagon. With that being said, most likely we're going to see Brock Lesnar take on Frank Mir in a rubber match. As we both know, Mir won the first one by knee bar, and Lesnar won the second one by face decimation.
So time for question 2. And this comes from Mr. Mysterio Alejandro via email. Hey Luke, enjoy the show. After Jake Shields' less than spectacular performance against Capman, do you think it's really fair for him to get an immediate title shot against the winner of GSP versus Koscheck, or should he have to prove himself some more first?
Well, at this time, it's hard to say because Shields, I mean, his record speaks for itself. It was a less than spectacular fight against Cameron. I mean, there's a lot of things going into it that you have to take into consideration. It was his first fight back at 170 pounds after competing at 185 in Strikeforce. It was his first fight in the UFC, and regardless of since he's already fought and all that, but there's always big time jitters, and that could have been it too. As far as it goes that he gets an immediate title match against George St. Pierre, it's been talked about for the past 2 years. So pretty much that's the only reason why he's going to get that title shot. I mean, against St. Pierre Koscheck, rather. I don't want to say that St. Pierre's just going to win.
Our last question is via JTV. You can also hit us up on JTV. It's from I Tongue Punch My Mom's Fart Locker. The question is, I heard about the UFC WEC merger. Is it true? And how do you feel about it? How do you think it will affect the company and the sport as a whole?
That's a good question there, I Tongue Punch My Mom's Fart Locker. And that's all the time that we have for today here at the Donkey Toboggan Fight Team Gym. If you're feeling like a greenish brownish baby sheep, send your questions and comments to us at NECKHOLE Productions at gmail.com. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for updates and other madnesses from NECKHOLE Productions. And I'm your host, Luke Spearing. And remember, grapple this with your lips.